reaction did the team give Paul and KG for reaching these milestones tonight?
Well, I think they're tired of it. You know, it just feels like every game we're clapping. It feels like one of those two, or somebody's passing something every night. No, they make a joke of it, but it's really cool. When you pass a Barkley and a West, those names, that's pretty impressive. I mean, Kevin just passed the logo. When you think of it in those terms, it's pretty remarkable what he's doing.
Nice to have Paul back in the lineup.
Yeah. But really, it was nice. Avery, I thought in the third quarter, changed the complexion of the game with his ball pressure. You know, because we had a stretch in the second, we were up 10, but I thought that third quarter, just our defense in general, and not just Avery, the whole team, we got up, we pressured. Boy, that's really good when you do that. Then they can't pick you apart with who they want to go to because there's not enough clock.
And it just seemed kind of like a stabilizing effect, Paul, because he can gives you here and there.
Yeah, he is, but I don't want to overplay it, honestly. We were awful last night, you know what I mean? But clearly having Paul on the floor is important for us because he does more than just stabilize. He scores, and he's a threat at the end of the clock. And that's huge for us, last night, we had a lot of in-the-clock possessions, and we didn't have our guy that can get his shot off whenever he wants to, and that hurt us. We don't want to get in those positions, but last night was one of those games we did.
Doc, how concerned are you about the early turnovers? Is it a big deal to you?
Yeah, I don't like turnovers or fouls. And, we had a couple of sloppy plays, but we got out of it. That was a good thing.
Regardless of Paul coming back, do you feel like it really seemed like the team wanted to respond?
Yeah, I don't know if it was last night or whatever, but they wanted to play well. They didn't like what happened last night.
Back to Avery for a second. His ability to take the other point guards, and he's plural because both of those guys seemed a little. Talk about his ability to do that so consistently, which is. Well,
he's just good at it. It's like Scottie Pippen. When you played the Bulls, you were praying that I hope he guards the other guy tonight. Because he was one of those guys that can guard 1, 2, or 3. And, you were hoping, okay, I hope. I mean, it's how rare is it that you want Michael to guard you, over Scottie. And I'm thinking that's Avery and even Courtney. Courtney's a good defender as well, but they're probably thinking, I'll take him over him. And his feet are so good. I mean, he stays in front of the ball. He gets up into it. And it's big for us. I mean, he's really making us a better defensive team.
And it seems that some teams have tried to do that to him, pressure him, but he doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, and when he does get pressure, we just tell Courtney to bring it up because it doesn't really matter in our offense who brings it up. And, that's where we're different.
Doc, are you concerned at all or worried, or are you past the point of being concerned when you guys lose a couple games of losing any type of confidence?
No, I don't worry about that. I think sometimes you're playing poorly. Sometimes you play a really good team like Oklahoma. Sometimes you show up and you don't play well. I think all season, during the season, there's individuals on your team who go up and down in confidence. That's just part of team basketball. And while that's happening, you're hoping somebody else is covering for them until they recover. But as a team, I think we have great confidence.
In 21 games since Rondo, this team has seemed like it's established its own identity, separate from the way you guys were in January.
Yeah, well, we had no choice. We either could have tried to play the same way and lose, or we had to change. And what's great is we haven't changed any sets. We've just changed the way we get into them, where anyone can start it now. Anyone can bring the ball up, and that's helped us.
Doc, you touched on the milestones, how nice it is for you to watch them from the sideline, but for you as a coach, how great is it of an opportunity to coach the 15th and the 20th leading scorers in the history of the NBA?
Well, it's made me a lot smarter. There's no doubt about that, and I'm honest with that. I mean, they make you so much better of a coach than what you are because you have guys who make a bad play look good sometimes because they just have the ability. I don't know how many bad plays I've called that Paul has scored on because he's a professional scorer. Or Kevin has bailed you out with a great play. If it could be passing or shooting, that's why they're so good. And that's why the teams they play on win.
Do these milestones seem to mean a lot to them, too?
I don't think they know. Kevin, you will never know because he won't let you. And Paul, is a little bit. I think they take it in stride. I think, maybe that's why they're so good. I think it's what they expect. think, like if one of us in this room passed Jerry West, we'd be having a party after the game tonight, But to them, I think it's part of their journey.
Doc, 19 free throws in the third quarter alone.
Yeah.
Did you send a message of aggression out of halftime, or is that?
Yeah, I just thought we settled a little bit. When you remember we had that 10-point lead, it was all to the basket, and then we went back to all jump shots. And once we went small, I thought we had the floor space and we should attack the rim, and we did that.
When KG is struggling with his shot, is he the hardest to push to keep shooting?
Yeah, he's tough. He knows he should, but he's so team-oriented. I think he had the first play, he had an open one, and he pumped and, waited, and we should have shot it right away. But then as the game went on, you could see he's starting to get it back, which was good. He got it into a good rhythm, which was nice for him.
Does it amaze you, though, sometimes, Doc, that a guy who is so focused on team and getting others involved, there's only been 14 guys who scored more points than you?
Yeah, I say it, and I actually don't know how many, if he's even had a 40 or 50-point game. I'm sure he has. But he probably could have had 50 or 60 more of them if he wanted to. I mean, he's the most reluctant great scorer to ever play, ever, because he could have. He could be in the top 5 if he wanted to be, but it's just not who he is. He's a team guy.
Doc, you talk about the players' confidence fluctuating a lot. You look at Jeff Green. He's leading the bench in scoring. He's now leading the team in scoring. Is he starting to be that player that you've kind of always wanted him to be?
Yeah, but I also kept things in perspective that he set out a year, and I just think it takes time. We're still working with him to be even more consistent. He has these big games sometimes, and okay games. We want him. I don't want to go on any restaurants. He wants to be the McDowell's. You know what you're getting every time. Same quality. Every single time. Fries are always good. All right, I'm done. Thank you.
You didn't say McDonald's.